Dee Dee,
Yes.
I know you're a mother, and do you pass along any like special Filipino traditions to your children that you're fond of that you'd be willing to share?
Uh, well, from like, apart from Filipino foods and like removing your shoes before you come into the house, and what else? Just respecting your elders and gosh, we visit my parents a lot, and they have the Last Supper on the wall, the spoon and
Oh, wow.
fork, the giant spoon. Um, I grew up like learning some traditional Filipino dances, which
Mhm.
my kids are, they're how do I say this? I mean, they're all about
Right.
the video games right now, Um, but I think that I need to do a little bit more research too, just to engage them in just culture. Because I was also born here. I was born in the States and grew up in the States, and my parents did not speak to me in Tagalog growing up.
Same.
Um, and they say it's my fault, but I'm like, if I
They
didn't have a
always say
choice,
that. We're
why
supposed
is
to
it
just
my
like spontaneously evolve language in my head. I
Right,
don't know.
exactly. Just teach us. Just teach us. But I learned a lot of Tagalog working on Miss Saigon, and
Really? Okay.
because
Of all
when I did
things.
the show, exactly, that other Filipino show. No,
Yeah, you know.
but when I
Real. Yeah.
but when I did the show in Asia, the cast was predominantly from the Asian cast was predominantly from the Philippines, and
Oh,
so they were like, okay, we're going to teach you Tagalog. We're only going to speak to you in Tagalog, and so you have to learn how to speak to us in Tagalog, like
Right.
respond in Tagalog. So it,
Aw.
it became more Taglish, but I learned a lot from them, and some other friends in New York who spoke Tagalog. So I love it. And my parents get a kick out of every time I try to speak Tagalog to them.
And then they
They
make
think
fun
it's
of you. Do they make fun of you afterwards? I don't know if that's just my
you
parents.
know, I think they're
Oh,
I think they're
no.
just happy that I'm like attempting to try. They're like, "Oh, how cute."
That's how it is. It's like, oh, cute. Look, listen to your gringo slang. That's
Oh.
what it's like.
But no joke, anytime I audition for anything Filipino, if I have an accent or if I speak any Tagalog, I'm on the phone with my parents. I'm like, okay, how do I say this? Show me how to say this correctly. And I grew up singing a lot of Sharon Cuneta songs, so I learned how to speak Tagalog phonetically just with the OPM and Sharon. So
I feel that. For
yeah,
me, it was Gary Vee and Martin Rivera.
yes, yes.
But yeah, it's I don't know about you, but like I watching. Oh gosh, you haven't watched like all of it yet, but even watching the first episode, I
Sorry.
felt this kind of interesting like upwelling of pride just watching it because I'm like, holy shit, everybody's gonna know the stories that I grew up with all of a sudden, and it's kind of exciting, and people are going to start appreciating it as well. So I'm also very grateful to be on this project, and I can't wait to see what happens with it.
Yeah, I want to watch the rest of it with my parents because I think that they were truly interested in this. I mean, I don't know that they've seen all of the episodes of Steven Universe, but I think they're going to want to watch the whole thing, the whole
Yeah,
season of
yeah.
Jose. I don't know. I have a
Season
feeling.
one.
Well, you know, I
Six
mean,
of the way through.
well, you know, and also here, like, you know, of course, here's the opportunity for the 16-year-old, right, who can take some who can take some of the darkness a little bit, but it's a way in for him. You know, it's anime, it's pop culture, and
I know.
it's mainstream now, which is huge, right?
Right. Yeah, a little bit of that culture in there, but also it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, mom, I had no idea. That was kind of cool.
You're
Yeah,
cool, Mom.
those fighting scenes.
You get
Those
some cool.
maybe.
Really cool. No, you're already legendary, Dee Dee.
Already,
You don't
yeah.
need to be cooler.
Nah. Nah.
There's an entire geek sphere that's just like, you're
Devoted.
Pearl!
Yes.
Aw. Oh my goodness. I'm a fan as well. Can you tell?
Oh yeah, as you should be.
And hey, listen, when I get the Trese, stuff, the all the what do you call it? Merch, all the
Swag.
Trese
The swag.
merch, the swag.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's gonna go up in between the other sound panels that you have. Just in the middle of that empty space right there. It's just gallery view.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, you were talking about how your 16-year-old, it's not cool yet to do like a cultural thing, but if they go off to college, that's, I think, it's the gateway for a lot of people's like involvement in Filipino stuff. I think they're gonna, especially with this around, it's gonna be cooler. I think,
Oh no, I think he thought it was really cool that they were speaking Tagalog, because he actually said this to me today when I was asking. I was like, hey, what did you think of Trese? What did you think? And he's like, oh, that was really cool. And then when you started speaking like Tagalog, when I heard like Tagalog, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I mean, as a 16-year-old would say. And I thought, oh, that's
Yeah.
neato,
Got the approval of a teenager.
right?
That happens so
It's white
rarely.
and gold.
I've got some cred now.
Because he's 16 now. He's like, he wants to be, independent. He's like, he's so sick and tired with this, during the pandemic. He's so sick and tired of as his roommates, because, mom and dad are just like his roommates right now. But
Awesome.
it's like, so it's kind of like, I don't know. We're going to connect. We're going to bond because of Trese. So maraming salamat to Trese for my connection with my 16-year-old son.
That's